Good day, ladies and gentlemen. It is time to take a look at Quake II. So, yeah, in just a short period of time, 2 years, this game will be 20 years old. This game will be 20 years old because this game came out in 1997. It's kind of crazy to think how much time has passed since then. Let's see, some kind of quote. Autism moment. Nobody's talking about Sonic around here. And Quake II. So yeah, Quake II is a game that in 1997 is more impressive than you might imagine, because for me, I was born in the year 1989, February 23rd of the year 1989, no less. So I got to grow up during the golden age of gaming here. To go from Wolfenstein 3D to this was pretty crazy. I mean, where we were doing good to have 2D graphics, well, here we are. It's just kind of amazing to think we went from 2D to 3D. Okay, so we'll go ahead and get through the intro real quick. Jacked up on Mountain Dew and Starburst. Oh dear, we're just going to play medium. So this is a pretty kick-ass intro, because this gives you everything you need to know about this new Quake II universe. And it's just the logo, the Quake II logo with like radio signals. Like, that is how you do an intro. I don't know if I'd say the game is too long or repetitive. We're just going to play through the opening part here of Quake II. We're not going to finish it. I think this game's like maybe 6 or 7 hours long. Now, this game does have a prequel called Enemy Territory Quake Wars, which I'm going to review next month. And it's kind of funny, the prequel is a Battlefield-inspired game of all things. I do like the remastered intro here because it doesn't look like pixelated garbage. I mean, look how good that looks. For the longest of time, whenever I'd play Quake 2, I would have to just watch that little postage stamp size video. Now, keep in mind, 1997, this would have blown people's minds. Like, it certainly blew mine. Because remember, I started with Wolfenstein 3D, and in less than a decade, we went to that. To that! I guess, like, all the easy advancements are over, or all the really talented developers either don't exist anymore, or they've all aged out or something. Which is kind of sad. This is a really neat starship design, but really this is a very poorly thought out plan here by the humans. And yep, Quake 4 is really good, although I hated Quake 4 for a long time. Because I said it was too modern for some reason. It's kind of hilarious how I would have thought that was too modern. I didn't give it a chance. I actually am doing a video on that. So, Bitterman here doesn't really have much of a character, but, he becomes like a villain in a lot of fan works for some reason. I'm not really sure why. So, this is a really stupid plan. I'm just saying, like, you're gonna drop, you know, a bunch of individual troops in these drop pods, right? No heavy weapons, no tanks, no nothing. What did they think was gonna happen? But then again, this is a first-person shooter, so if you had to... Well, thank you, Triple X Medic. As of tomorrow, I'll be 36 years old, and, yeesh. It's just kind of funny that this game here... the plan here is to just crash down for some reason. I mean, if you didn't, you wouldn't have much of a first-person shooter, but still... And they bring this back for Quake 4, and it makes a little more sense there. A little more sense. But you also have to remember that 1997, people weren't taking a lot of these video game plots that seriously. There were exceptions, like System Shock, I think, took its plots really seriously, as did the Marathon series, which I've never played. Like, I've tried to play Marathon 1, and my god, that level design. It's a game that's not made for me. And thank you, Facing Phobos. What I like about Quake 2 and a lot of the id Software games is just the fact that they get you right into the gameplay pretty fast. Like, that's it. It's just, they completely set up a whole new universe in like a couple minutes. Now, since this is the Night Dive remaster, we have a few minor changes. Like, the graphics are marginally enhanced. And also, since this is the 90s, we've got the computer objectives. The original PC release would have, like, F1 on there instead of just a little exclamation point. Because, yes, I'm that much of a Quake II nerd. So I played this game back in 2000, in 1997, on my grandfather's compact laptop. That actually was a bonus from Compaq, because laptops in those days were very, very expensive. No audio. Maybe it's just like really quiet. Alright, let's crank that up a little bit. And thank you, Riley, and thank you, Dark Shadow Rage, for telling me that we did not have any audio going. D-Day in real life was not what the movies portray. It wasn't quite like it showed on there. The tanks actually did make it to the beach. More tanks than the movies will show. I'd recommend checking out World War II TV. That kind of explains that. It'll talk about, like, the myth of D-Day. It kind of dispels some myths that even I believed. But yeah, the computer objectives. It's not just objectives. Oh yeah, the laptop. Yeah, the compact laptop back in those days. I saw a receipt for that a few years back. That laptop that I played this on was 10 grand. 10,000 for a laptop. I mean, we don't know how good we have it. Like, you can get a fucking Chromebook for like less than $100. Not that you'd really want to do that unless you're, you know, not really a computer person and just want something to check your email with. Imagine where the tanks didn't make it through. And yeah, it was an exception. Like, the tanks did get there, and the actual casualties weren't quite as bad as the movies would make it out to be either. D-Day was a resounding success. But it kind of got overshadowed by a lot of the myth-making. I mean, if you're one of the casualties, I mean, that's one too many, but it still was not like this close-run thing that the movies like to make it out to be. But yeah, the laptop he had ran this thing really, really bloody good. I think that laptop is still in the office. I'll have to check and see. Exactly. Fuck the Toyota. We need to play Quake II with full graphics and music. Now, Gramps didn't like this game nearly as much as I did. He was more of a Quake 1 kind of guy. I remember as a kid, I loved the fact, and both me and my grandfather pointed out, like, look at it, they got, like, flies on the carcass. That's, like, the coolest thing ever. Which, you know, you're coming from Wolfenstein 3D, where you barely have graphics, and then less than 10 years later, you got flies buzzing over the corpse. It's awesome. And yeah, The Longest Day is a really, really good movie. It's one of my favorite World War II movies, actually. And yeah, Omaha evidently was not as bad as people make it out to be, though, because I saw a video on that from World War II TV talking about it. It was pretty interesting, actually. That's one of the more obscure history tubers that is worth watching. Let's see. And yeah, Longest Day is like 3 hours long. I used to watch that when I was a kid. I actually have it on VHS. Oh my god. It's kind of interesting how, like, VHS got more advanced as time went on. The first time I saw Longest Day, it was a 2 VHS set. And then by the time I finally bought it, VHS had advanced to the point where it was now just on the one tape. I don't know if I'd say... Actually, you know what? I could say that in many respects this is better than the vanilla version. One thing they did change, though, is we no longer have machine gun recoil. I remember my grandfather mentioning that, like, oh yeah, just aim at their feet and just walk it up them, which I thought was pretty neat. They lost that, but honestly, I like there not being that much recoil with the machine gun anyway, because if this is a submachine gun, it shouldn't even have that much recoil. Fun gameplay and soundtrack. 3 is crap and 4 is damn good shooting. And yeah, you don't have to swap tapes. But Quake 3, I don't know if Quake 3 is a bad game. I mean, it's a multiplayer-only game that people at QuakeCon still play, so it can't be that bad. But yeah, it's definitely not something that I would ever really go back to. Although I have to admit, I played a lot of Quake 3 when I was a youth, just against bots. So... the only problem with Betamax, I think, was you did have to do multiple tape swaps. And, well, thank you, agnostic libertarian. I never actually used Betamax. I don't think I ever saw Betamax in real life. And today's pretty good. It is really fucking cold, though. It's like 14 below zero. It's not really 14 below zero, but it feels like it. Well, they weren't, the Natsox weren't that entrenched, especially when you compare it to some of the Japanese islands. It's just, you know, that was a big beach they had to take. And a lot of the troops there were actually foreign volunteers. There's even a guy there from Korea that had gotten captured by the Russians, then got captured by the Germans, then finally got captured by Americans. Also, what made VHS so popular is, well, prawn. For whatever reason, the prawn people preferred VHS. It is stunning and brave. Oh, yes, indeed. That's the thing about cold. Heat, you can, you know, turn on the air conditioner and you feel good. Cold, you just sit there and just stew in the bitter unpleasantness. It is not fun. Not fun at all. I remember when I was still a teenager, back in the year 2007, I actually had, I'd started my first shitty grocery store job, and my grandfather recorded for me Stargate SG-1 and Atlantis, because I didn't want to miss it. College campus was closed for 2 days. Damn, guess you got some snow. And yeah, this remaster is really, really good. I don't know if I want to say it's better than the original, because the original is pretty good, but this is what I go back to most of the time. Vodka. Attorney fought against communism in Finland, Germany, and the... yeah, I think his helicopter got shot down or something in Vietnam's. Now, I've played Quake II on a lot of different things, but I think the coolest one is the Nintendo DS. If you got a DS flash cartridge, you could actually run this on a DS. Like the original PC release, no less. Oh, come on, get it. Like, you could play the PC version of Quake 2 on a DS, and it controlled pretty good, actually. You aimed with the stylus on the touchpad. It was kind of finicky in places, but it ran. You had to have the RAM expansion. And I did play this at my shitty grocery store job. Kuza as a pet adopting minigame? Huh, neat. That jump attack is pretty rough. I'm glad they cut it out of the original. It would have pissed me off. Whereas these days, I'm a little better of a gamer, I think. I like the fact that this is still fundamentally Quake 2. But they just kind of tweaked it. They tweaked it just enough. Because it didn't really need that much work to make it better than it was. Because to me, this is like peak 90s first-person shooting. Like, this is, to me, the best of the best of the best, sir, when it comes to 90s FPSs. It's faster. It's more refined. I like that word, refined, because that's really what this is. It's not a evolutionary leap. It just took everything that the 90s did and did it better. You had a lot of good enemies to fight. The aiming actually made sense, although, believe it or not, I used turret controls with this. Because that's how you control games, right? Let's see. At a giant eagle, now is a Kroger's. By jumping at the right time, huh? Artificially lowering health on Quake 1? Ugh. Yeah, we're gonna get that DP-12 in just a second. Ports at Kotra 1 and 2. How do you even control those, though? Because, like, that's the one problem with, like, phones. Because all those Apple people with their, we can emulate games. It's like, welcome to 2005, Apple users. We could emulate games on Android all this bloody time. You just can't control any of that with like a touchpad, though. It is shit to control anything with the touchscreen. But, yeah. I guess like KOTOR 1 and 2 aren't really that dynamic since they are RPGs. But yeah, I worked at Kroger's for 2 years. Not fun. Not fun at all. But, I mean, it did provide me money to get a car. Well, actually, I didn't have to pay for a whole car. Essentially, I have a very good family, and so they didn't just give me everything. And so, to get a car, my mother gave me a non-functioning car and said that I had to save up the money to get it fixed. Which I did! And I used that car for 7 years. It's what we in the business would call a shitbox, but you know what? It ran. And that's really all that mattered. I was kind of sad to see it go. I guess for me, when it comes to, like, mobile gaming, I prefer to have something more, you know, pick up and play than an RPG. But yeah, there's nothing worse than, like, a retail job. It's always kind of funny to listen to people who've never really worked retail talking like, oh yeah, well I guess it makes money, ha ha ha. It's like, no, it's one of the most soul-crushing jobs imaginable. Mainly because you have to work with the public. Working with the public, never fun. Especially when you're... I'm not really what you'd call introverted. I mean, I'm doing a live stream right now, so I can't be that introverted. But when you're kind of introverted, and now you go from, like, talking to a couple people a day to, like, a shitload, and they're all very unpleasant. I've never actually played Doom RPG. I'm aware of it, though. Foodland. Most of the stuff from my childhood still exists, but yeah, Blockbuster is sadly gone. Yeah, definitely the cost of your sanity. The customer is always wrong, most of the time at least. Most of the time. Barbershop, it's not an ad for DP12. Oh, the DP12. You know, I remember when I made this video, made the Quake II review, the original one, back in 2010, talking about how, like, oh, you never need a double barrel pump action. Little did I know that somebody would do it. That Standard Manufacturing did the DP12. Of course, they're also the one that made a really shitty, like, defensive revolver, too, that nobody liked. That didn't even work right. The DP12, as far as I know, works, but, like, I don't know why you'd ever really need one unless you're fighting, you know, like, alien cyborgs. I mean, there's always that, I guess. Barrett 98. I don't think I've heard of that one. Quake II Generations. Okay, now see, that sounds cool. I'm literally going to take a picture of that chat message so I can look that up. See, we're using low-tech solutions for high-tech problems. Need to remember a chat message? Just take a picture of it with your phone. That's another one of those remaster things. So, like, used to be you just blow his head off and it would disappear. Now it actually gets decapitated. That's pretty hardcore. This is the game by which I judged pretty much all the other first-person shooters that would come out afterwards. Like, is it as fast? Is it as fluid? Can you turn an enemy into just a cloud of guts? And sadly, with COD, you can't really do that anymore. I don't know, are there even any modern shooters worth playing anymore? Now, see, you can blow yourself up, or you can just run straight to him and put a shotgun in his face. Keltec, KSG. Huh, I'm surprised it actually lasted. That mod has BJ, Doom Guy, Quake... Well, Quake 1 guy... Technically, Quake 1 guy's name is Ranger. Gimmick gun... Here's the funny part about that Remington 870. There was like a one-off, you know, like Bubba special where they, where somebody welded two 870s together to make one, strange creature. Is this some modern shooters? Like, I don't know, like, there's just no modern games that I would really want to play. Overwhelming force. Yeah, it's gonna damage your shoulder. It's gonna beat your shoulder to a mush. It won't damage your shoulder. 12 gauge isn't that powerful, but it's gonna be rough. I actually have a double barrel, but it's just a double barrel side-by-side goose gun, as they're known. I let off both barrels once and almost knocked me to the ground. Pirate Yakuza is a lot of fun. Flamethrowers, laser cannons. That's not what I expected from a Yakuza game, but okay. Now, I don't know if this was originally a CD or not. I can't remember. They might have changed that. Because I know, like, you can pick up, like, compact discs! You can also pick up discs in, Mass Effect. I guess they really cared about their physical media in those games. 1740. Pfft. They're too similar to each other. Indie shooters are not. Yeah, indie shooters, yeah. I was so excited for all those, you know, indie games, and sadly, outside of Dusk, they haven't been that great. Even a Medieval wasn't that impressive after a while. Man, you keep talking up. You keep talking up Yakuza. I've really got to try that one day, because that really sounds like it's going to be an interesting experience, something different. Technically, flamethrowers are not regulated, so if you want to get a classic M2, you could do that. I don't know why you'd want to. I mean, I guess if you wanted to burn stuff up, but it's a neat concept. And a floating tank in the mech. Yeah, I really did enjoy that too. Although, believe it or not, when that game first came out, I was like, we don't need vehicle segments in first-person shooters. That's sacrilegious. Now, I never played this on N64 or even the PlayStation. I mean, I've downloaded and tried them, but really, I've just gone back to this one over and over again. This is just a good game for jumping in, getting a few bits of gameplay, and then doing whatever else you need to do. When I do my Steam Deck recommendation video, this is like on the top of the list. This is great for mobile gaming. Like, really good for that. The remaster here does let you play Quake 64. And it does work remarkably well. It's a lot better than emulating it, because the frame rate's never quite right when you emulate Quake 2 on the N64. It's one of those things about N64 never really, unless you're really like playing with the settings, getting games to run right on N64 is just not as easy as some of those other systems. That's because the devs had to be really good with what they were doing, because they were kind of playing with that system hardware. It's kind of like the GameCube. We just now, like in the last couple years, finally got Rogue Leader after what, 20 years? And we still don't have that third game, which I really want to play. I have it legit, but, well, getting that Wii set up is boring. Wish the remaster would have fixed it where you could glide more freely instead of... Huh. KS-23. I'm not sure what the KS-23 is. I don't recognize it. Yeah, the N64 is, in my opinion, the best console of the late 90s. That's the thing. It's like none of the games on the PS1 would have appealed to me back then anyway, like Resident Evil or Metal Gear Solid. Is the KS-23 that giant 4-bore like Russian shotgun? If it is, I saw a video on that Russian 4-bore monstrosity. It didn't have nearly the recoil I thought it would. Must be like really low pressure. It's one of those things that it's kind of cool, but I don't think I really want one. There's a four-barrel shotgun that was semi-auto and cycled through the barrels. That'd definitely be a very cool video game thing, but I can tell you that any shotgun like that would be on Forgotten Weapons within like 2 years. Because getting something like that to work would be so complicated, it wouldn't even be worth it. The thing about like weird shotgun designs or weird weapon designs is they don't really work and don't give you any benefit over just using a standard design. Oh yeah, we got the brain in a jar. That's like that's such a cool enemy. It's like, I don't know why you would design that, but hey, the Strogg, you know, they're classy. Rosa wants to do. Oh, it's one of those Clinton ones. Okay. Maxim 9 to be on Forgotten Weapons. Possibly, but I think the Maxim 9... For those who don't know what a Maxim 9 is, it's a 9mm pistol that is integrally suppressed, meaning it's very, very expensive. I think that has a place. I think the Maxim 9 has a place because all the YouTubers that are rich buy them. So they're probably able to stay in business because of that alone. Like, imagine a 9mm pistol, but it's like a couple grand because it's like intricately suppressed, man. But yeah, it's probably gonna end up there. It's kind of like that Hudson H9, which was like this 1911-ish, you know, striker-fired thing that nobody really in their right mind would buy. And yeah, the Maxim 9 looks super cool, but like, would you want to spend that kind of money on just a 9mm pistol? So I should go stop making them or went out of business? Okay. And some of those gun tubers, though, they don't really do, like, reviews, so to speak. Like, they, like, shoot a gun once, it's like, yes, it is very good. But then again, what can you do? Because it's, do you put 5,000 rounds through a gun before you do a review? That would be very expensive. Like, you better be making money off of that. The thing about the gun market is it's kind of flooded with, like, everything, and a lot of it works. You know, back in the days when all you had was a 1911, it's like, you got a 1911 or you got a 1911. Now there's so many flavor of 9mm pistol, and they all pretty much work. Blow his head off. Let's talk about giving some head. The brake-loading assault rifle from Doom 3. Yeah, that would be... Because I can only imagine what kind of mechanical problems that thing would have. It's kind of like RoboCop, you know? The, Ed 209. Who cares if it worked? Now, see, that's government for you. Doesn't matter if it works, it just matters if, you get a contract. What's been your favorite firearm? Oh, don't make me choose. Don't make me choose, because... I stick with, like, stuff that works. Stuff that's, like, tried and true and actually functions. If I was gonna pick my absolute favorite, like, the best of the best of the best, sir, I would say, without a doubt, the M1 carbine. That is, like, the single coolest gun I've got. It's like a pistol caliber carbine, but it can actually reach out and touch somebody at a good distance. Whoa, he just evaporated that guy. You know, it's light, it's airy, you can use 30-round mags that aren't too heavy. It's just beautiful. Break action. Yeah, there are such guns as that, though, but they're black powder. There's like 3 or 4 shot volley guns. Heavy guns are really obscure and cool looking. Sadly, a lot of the cool looking guns just don't really function that well. But for me, the M1 carbine, it's everything I hoped it would be. And it better have been, because those things are very expensive. Because all the boomers bought them all up in the 60s. And they don't want to sell them. And I know why, because they're good. See, these guys are even harder now. You see, they changed one of the arms. It used to be a spike, now it's kind of a mallet kind of thing. I always thought the Berserker looked a bit like, you know, like Beethoven or something. It looks like he's got one of those 1700s wigs on. I always like these generic guys, though, with the shotguns and everything. Did we get them? No, we didn't. Okay, let's go ahead and save. SVD. Yeah, it's a pretty nice rifle. It's not really worth the price you'd have to pay, although they're bringing them back. I say they. There's a company that actually is able to make them for like $5,000. So once that price comes down, you know, it might be worth looking at. The one gun from SHOT Show I'm looking forward to is the Type 100 clone that's potentially going to get made. You buy an Army surplus M1 Garand or M1 carbine. Yep. But even back then, they were expensive, though. I actually plugged it into an inflation calculator. The $200 M1 carbines from like the 80s were not actually $200. What they were the equivalent of $800 today. People forget that just because the price looks lower, it wasn't really. But not only that, people made less money back in those days, so it still would have been an expensive proposition. Oh crap, how do I get back up there? I know I'm supposed to shoot something, but no. Aw, damn it. Oh, there it is. I blame the chat. Alright, let's save. See, you really want to search for some of these secrets because you really could use old Painless here. The game is a lot easier if you have the proper weapons. Just evaporate them! So like, this game is so visceral. And there's no, they really, id Software really got the enemy design right because there's no annoying ogres that take so many hits and are just so boring to fight. Oh my god, the crates are like bobbing up and down in the water. It's the most advanced thing I've ever seen. It's truly the future. Okay, let's save here. id Software likes to talk about not having stories in games, but like, they were able to establish a pretty cool sci-fi universe in like 2 minutes. And if they didn't do that, this game would not be nearly as good as it is. Like, if you ever read like the instruction manuals for some of these id Software games, id Software did story. Like, they did it really well. Like, you can tell they were D&D nerds. Like, you look at the story for Quake III, it's just a shitty multiplayer game, but it's got a huge backstory. Like, it's not just you're fighting in an arena. In Quake 3, all the major id Software heroes at that point get kidnapped, except for BJ for some reason. Get kidnapped by, like, some aliens and are forced to fight in the Arena Eternal for their amusement. Like, it was a big deal. They put a lot of effort into that game, even if it was just a multiplayer thing. Yeah, that was pretty neat. Yeah, Quake 2, Halo 2, you know, that was a big event back in 2004. I mean, Quake, Halo 2 was really good, but it did introduce the regenerative health. Yep, Doom was indeed born from D&D, where they like unleashed a bunch of demons or something. Hey, didn't miss that much. We're just getting started here. Talking about story getting in the way of a game, I'm going to be live streaming the PlayStation 1 classic Metal Gear Solid soon. And my god, Kojima won't shut up! It's like, holy crap! Like, those cutscenes go on forever. I mean, I like story in games, but man, it's like, you defeat a boss and then it's like 2 or 3 minutes of just Snake going, what's this? What's that? What's this? What's that? It's like, I get they need to have some exposition, but seriously though, it makes Snake look kind of stupid. Yeah, I guess, but like, Master Chief needed to have, you know, his, Master Chief really needed to keep using health pickups, just because that made a little more sense to a certain extent, because eventually he'd run out of biofoam. Let's see, 3 spinning barrels. There is such a thing as that, Cyrus Von Knox, kind of. Instead of the spinning barrels, there's a, IWI, oh dear, shotgun that has 3 tubes that you manually rotate. It's kind of a neat concept. I'm sure it's already out of production. But the fact is, though, none of that stuff's going to really be that useful. Like, it sounds cool, but then you buy it and it doesn't work, or it doesn't do anything better than what you already had. For me, I'm just looking forward to that 570 shotgun. I actually do own the original Metal Gear Solid for PlayStation 1. I got it when I was getting into retro games. Finally, we got to crush an enemy with a box. But I never got that far into it, but I was finally inspired by XXX Medic to actually play the goddamn game. And, you know, with save states, it's not too bad. It's not, definitely not a game for me, though. Regenerative health, I guess, is good for, like, the bro shooter fan. It's like, oh yeah, you don't even have to worry about health packs. I think you can still buy those Mossberg 500 bullpup things off of, like, eBay. I have no idea how much they cost. I can definitely see MGS as an interactive movie, but there's enough gameplay that it's not just a walking simulator. Actually, wait, I think we can just jump right up there like that. Okay. And that should open up some door somewhere. Yeah, there we go. I think that opens up this one. Most of this game is pretty straightforward, but this little warehouse area is a little confusing in places. A little confusing. Now, when I first played this game, I don't think I actually beat it. I think what ended up happening is I kind of played it a little bit. But then, it seemed like... It's crazy to think that as you get older, time... The way you process time gets a little different. It's like, as a youth, like a month can feel like ages, you know? A month can feel like a year does today. Whereas, when you're a kid, it's always very different. So this game came out in '97. I think my grandfather kind of like moved on from that laptop around 2000. And then something happened to the original disc. And then around 2003 or 4, no, maybe not even then, maybe it was like 2005, I bought this game again off of Amazon.com and ran it on my Dell XP laptop. And I think that's the first time I actually beat it, was on that computer. But it's kind of crazy for me. The time between 2007 or 1997, I should say, and 2005 just seems like such a massive gulf of time. Halo Reach is one of my favorite Halos. Yeah, Halo Reach is I did not play Halo Reach until 2018. When it came out, I was pissed, absolutely livid, that they were going to ditch the continuity from Halo Fall of Reach, the game, or the book, rather. And so I refused to play it. I absolutely refused to play Halo Reach because of that. You know, because, like, continuity was a big deal for me, and still is. Playing Generations. Nice. Poor Ranger. He never really gets any respect these days. Believe it or not, there's a Quake Champions comic book. I discovered that the other day. Perfectly legally, by the way. And it's not a bad read. It's sort of like a day in the life of Ranger and one of the characters named Anarchy, which is kind of like a 90s punk character that I didn't think anybody cared about, but evidently the comic writers did. It wasn't a bad comic, but all it did was set up Quake Champions, and they didn't really do anything with the characters or the setting. But it was remarkably well written. That's the thing, like, so much of these video game, like, comic books and things like that, they're usually really well written compared to other stuff, but they never do anything with them. I think Halo is one of the only video game universes that actually got any sort of real narrative around it. And then 303 ran it into the ground, but whatever. Or 343, rather. Let's see. Nice. Hey, I actually... Wait, hold on. What did you say? How I first seen it, we got it. Yeah, I actually got to see Dredd in theaters. I did not go to a 3D showing. See, Dredd 2012, that's a really good movie. I highly recommend it. I don't think I like it quite as much as the original 90s Judge Dredd, but Dredd 2012, still worth watching. I actually saw that at theaters, and that was at a time when 3D was like trying to make another big comeback. And so there's some obvious 3D scenes that just go on and on. There's like this drug they have in the movie called slow-mo, and so of course they have slow-mo scenes. Although that's one of those weird things where why did anyone think it was a good idea for the slow-mo scenes to basically be people falling? Wouldn't it have made more sense to have shown, you know, like Judge Dredd fighting in slow-mo or something? 4 content not great, yep. Not put the story in the game. Weird German law. Not allowed to insult someone. Well, they have the freedom of speech in Germany is you're free to speak exactly as you're told. And yeah, Dredd 2012 is much more like the actual Judge Dredd comic. The Judge Dredd comic is a little too negative for my taste. It's just... The Judge Dredd comic is mainly meant as a satire, and if you're in a satirical universe, there's really no room for growth. It's just like everything's bad all the time, and it's like nobody can win. It's like, yeah. I read a bit of it, though, despite saying that. There's a lot of interesting story lines in the Judge Dredd comic book. They got the Dark Judges, which are basically like chaos gods in like body form. Then there's the big storyline I actually read all the way through is the one where the Soviet Union invades, because yes, it's an old comic from like started in the 70s, and the Soviet Union invading is from the 1980s. It's pretty good, but it starts off really goofy. Here's the thing about Judge Dredd. It's a really goofy comic book. Like, it is super goofy. Like, but it doesn't stay that way. Like, you'll have these major storylines that start off super goofy and then get really serious. So, like, this Soviet Union invasion thing starts off with, like, this block war, and it's so stupid. Basically, the civilians get, like, some kind of special, like, gas that makes them go crazy. And that's the satire part. But then it becomes this serious war comic when the Soviet Union invades. What's kind of funny is, the judges invent this thing called a stub gun, which is like this plasma rifle. But if you're a 40K fan, you're like, wait a minute, isn't the stub gun just a gun? And yeah, the 90s Judge Dredd had a pretty cool looking little world, even if it was a lot brighter than the actual comic book world. Judge Dredd himself is kind of portrayed weirdly in different media. Like, he's kind of a hero, but not really. But it depends on who's writing him. Speak freely. I mean, that is definitely something the Germans would come up with. I don't know what's with Germany. They always got this strange relationship with the idea of individual liberty, as in they don't really have much of that. But yeah, the Judge Dredd universe is kind of weird. It's basically set in like the 2100s, I think. Judge Dredd is a clone, and this is not like a spoiler. Judge Dredd is a clone of like a really famous judge. It's set after the nuclear war of the 2070s, and humanity basically lives in these giant megacities thanks to increasing automation. Everybody's out of work, so there's a bunch of crazy gangs and stuff like that. Free speech caused the... Really? Really? I'm not surprised. I mean, always beware the person saying, in the interest of public safety. Because, or as Ronald Reagan once said, I'm from the government and I'm here to help. That's why it's kind of rich, people talking about how Cheeto is apparently a dictator despite shrinking the government. One time, Judge was forced to shoot his own brother. Yeah, they definitely changed that a little bit from the movie. Although, in Judge Dredd 95, there's a scene where Stallone actually does act pretty well. And Armand Asante, who's Judge Dredd's brother in that movie, actually gets a pretty good acting performance as well. Judge Dredd 95 is often slept on because it was early fodder for the likes of Nostalgia Critic and other YouTube reviewers, but it's actually pretty good. Even Rob Schneider does a pretty good performance as well. There's also Judge Dredd novels. If you want to read some grimdark, like legitimately grimdark, I'd recommend reading the novel, God damn it. That's not the name of the book. Although it might as well be. So, in the Judge Dredd universe, you've got what are called the Dark Judges. They're basically like chaos gods in like body form. And they come from what's called the Dead World. Basically, you had like some normal judges like sell their souls to like the devil, and they become like these super powerful creatures. Now, once again, that sounds really cool, but the original comic is goofy as fuck. But the novel, Dead World, it's actually an omnibus. basically shows them taking over their world and like killing off all the population. That's not goofy as fuck. But the Dark Judges, depending on who's writing them, can be really goofy. It's like, the crime is life, the punishment is death, stuff like that, you know? And then like the Dark Judges are stopped by like encasing them in plastic. It's like, well, that's easy. Let's see. Yeah, he's fighting government censorship, yep. And yeah, you got Judge Death, Judge Fear, Judge Fire, and Judge Mortis. I mean, Judge Fire sounds kind of lame compared to all those guys, but yeah, the novel Dead World goes into like their origin stories. God damn it, that's actually worth reading. Oh, come on, F9. God damn it. Okay, we got the demon dog over here that wants to lick us. Oh my. And I'm gonna get killed by the— oh, got it! You bastard! Aha, take that! Yeah, try to climb back up there with no thumbs. That reminds me, bears are very creepy creatures. Like, they can climb trees and are like utterly deadly to like an unarmored human. I think a stream from a couple weeks ago talking about how would you kill a dinosaur. If I had to go up against a dinosaur, I want a powered exoskeleton. You know, I want like a power loader from Aliens or something. I don't want to have to try to shoot him. Judge Dredd is fighting a predator. Yeah, I remember. Yeah, the first Judge Dredd versus the Predator had Judge Dredd going up against an elderly gentleman, an elderly predator, that literally just wanted to get killed by him. Which I think is kind of a neat concept. I mean, Judge Dredd is that powerful. Judge Dredd has a huge power level. And so the judges in Judge Dredd have like a special gun called the Lawgiver. I actually have a 3D model, or a 3D print of one of those. That's basically just sort of a modified Glock almost. That's from the Dredd 2012 movie. But the Lawgiver has like a bunch of different rounds, like explosive, incendiary. Depending on the comic or the continuity, they'll have like magic bullets, or they'll be like hot shot, which is kind of like a souped up flare, or double whammy, which is like 2 bullets in one. It's 2 bullets. Triple X, I was talking about the MGS being a very talky game. You know, we're just trying to save in Metal Gear Solid. Like, you have to, like, call in via the codec, which is, like, this radio system, right? And you have to talk to somebody, and she won't shut up. It's like, just save my game, goddammit. I don't want to hear a quote. I don't care about Lao Tzu, Sun Tzu, or whatever. Just save my game so I can get back to the bloody game, you bastard. Is to pray to the gods and get struck by lightning? Yeah, pretty much. That cocaine bear ain't far off, and they don't even have to be hopped up on the cocaines either. They can be that bad. Final boss has 30 minutes of dialogue. What are they even talking about? I don't want to talk too much about MGS because there's I got a lot to say about that game. Fangirling about James Bond. I mean, Metal Gear Solid I thought was supposed to be like a super serious game, but I gotta be honest with you, it's pretty goofy too. I mean, Revolver Ocelot, you know, the name is kind of funny in and of itself, but, you know, it's like, wait a minute. He's rocking a single action revolver? It's just, that seems kind of funny to me. There's a lot of other little things like that too. It's like, wait a minute, you can destroy a tank with grenades? Yeah, when people get mad at holding a gun. Exactly. Ocelot won in the end. I did not know that. Hey, don't spoil it. Not that I'm really that invested in the universe yet. It's just so goofy some of the time. Like, it really is very much like a video game equivalent to an anime. And yeah, it's like, I like to reload in battle. No, it's like, he should not. That's the most dangerous time in a battle is reloading, because, you know, when you're reloading, people can shoot you a lot. what's the whole premise of like Metal Gear is a bit silly though. Like Metal Gear Rex can shoot a nuke anywhere. It's like, wait a minute, don't we already have technology like that? Holy crap, we got a tank. Hey, if I throw grenades at it, hey, yeah, we'll do this like MGS. We'll just chuck grenades at it, right? I mean, it worked. Oh yeah, Twin Snakes, which is the GameCube remake. It is even goofier than the PS1 game, because like somehow Snake is able to drop kick a missile. I mean, I know Snake's pretty tough, but it seems a little silly that he could just do that. And I tried to put the pin back in. Okay, we could try this like MGS, or we could just shoot him with this. Just shoot him in the back with a chain gun, or minigun, or gun of many barrels, whatever. It's a deck of many things. But see, I always thought that that game with the guy, the game with, what the hell is that game called? Metal Gear Solid Revengeance. I thought that game was supposed to be like the goofy, fun one. I didn't know it fit in with like the tone of all the other games. Yeah, more like Money Printer. It takes $10,000 to shoot it for 30 seconds. Oh yeah, the Mark 23 SOCOM. That's gonna be expensive. See though, Cyrus, my favorite aspect of Quake II is the fact that it's all tech-based. The tech base is my favorite type of level. So like, this is perfect for me. I love the science fiction stuff. The hell levels outside of Doom 3 just were never that great. Or at least not to me. You know, I quote the heavy from Team Fortress 2, but I've not played Team Fortress 2 since 2011. And even then I didn't play it very long. So, meh. Yeah, the Mark 23 SOCOM, it's a very cool gun, but very, 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 very expensive. Oh no! I should have paused sooner. But very expensive. I actually recently watched a video from Retro Blasting. I recommend that channel. They have a lot of good content. They do like toy reviews, basically any kind of review. The guy who does it, is very, very, very wealthy. It kind of makes me want to be rich because he's got like a DeLorean and an entire like man cave filled with awesome toys and shit. He recently put together a brace of pistols from Tomb Raider 1, the movie with Angelina Jolie. He basically custom made some HK matches, which is really cool. I would have never guessed that guy even knew what a gun was, much less owned them. I guess it goes to show you can't judge a book by its cover. Because I was surprised. I was watching one of his video on the Indiana Jones game. He did not like it. It definitely isn't a game that I would play either, just because it's more of a stealth-based game, and I'm not into that. But it's talking about how like, well, they got Indiana Jones' pistol wrong, and he brings out this Colt 1917. I'm like, wait a minute, he actually has a real gun and knows how to shoot it? What? I never would have guessed. Once again, do not judge books by covers, apparently. I mean, that actually is a good thing. Actually, it's not a bad view to have, because there's a lot of books I have that have really shit covers that are actually really good, so, yeah. See, yeah, the Sonic Mayhem soundtrack is really, really good. Oh, Tomb Raider the movie. See, that's one of those things. As I grow older, I can still enjoy the sexiness of Angelina Jolie. And man, as an adolescent, let's just put it this way, when she whips that towel off, I paused the DVD there many, many times. Oh, dear. I mean, that's just what you had back in those days. There was no prawn hub. Pfft, that was the fever dream of a madman. Ryu's actually a big gun guy as well. Huh. So when I first got this game, well, no, when I got this game in 2005, I think, from my Dell XP machine, I put the disc into the machine, right? And then Windows Media Player immediately starts playing the soundtrack that's on the CD. Like, I had no idea that such a thing was even possible. I thought it was like some kind of hacker getting the music out of the game. And I remember burning a bunch of CDs just with like Sonic Mayhem tracks mixed with like other rock tracks like, you know, AC/DC, Ozzy, and all the rest. World Barrows Omniverse. Oh, a lot of these new covers really are pretty bad. Like, they ended up ruining a lot of the Star Wars covers when they got reissued. XP wasn't bad, but it did not have really good security, though. Like, it was so easy to get a virus on that thing and have your computer get hosed, and then you gotta reinstall Windows and all the rest. And as a kid that understood computers pretty well, it wasn't that hard, but it was still really annoying. Honestly, I think Windows 7 was my favorite of the Windows OSs. And I'm gonna wait for a long bloody time before I even consider upgrading to Windows 11. And that's true. You can put a PS1 game into a CD player and play music off there, but you can also put it in a computer and run it and actually rip the music off of there. I did that for Mortal Kombat Trilogy. Oh, Windows Vista. See, Linux is annoying though. Like, you have to remember all these bloody commands. If I'm gonna do that, it's like work, you know? It's like when I'm at home, I just want to click on an icon and be done with it. Give me an icon, goddammit. Okay, I'm not sure if we can go in there, but we're gonna try it anyway. Yep, we can. Alright, so we don't have our pack of cigarettes, but we can see these. There we go. Seven of the best. Only upgraded Windows 10 out of necessity. Yep. I think Windows ME was also pretty annoying too. There was another one that was another OS that was really unsecure. And in those days, like virus software and stuff like that didn't really exist in any meaningful way. It's like you just go on like almost anywhere and you're getting some kind of thing on there. Or if you downloaded that purple bastard. Oh crap. Ross Scott did a video on OS. Huh, I've not seen that one. Attempt to learn Polish. Oh dear. Yeah, Poland's a pretty nice country. Blast him! Just shoot him in the back. I remember these little flying bastards were really annoying, especially if you were using turret controls. If you were trying to use just like the classic, you know, arrow keys, like those things were almost impossible to hit. Blast him! Yeah, these centaur dudes are not fun either. They got rail guns. Am I all out of ammo? Yes, I am. It's like 2020 all over again. Where 9mm went from $80 a box to $180 per 500. Actually, it's not that bad. Prices have gone down, but it was pretty rough. Carry my cigarette to my stomach. Oh my. Oh crap. Just keep chucking grenades. Sack of hand grenades. Give me health. Mech using upscaled revolvers. That's still kind of silly though. Most mechanically simple assault rifle. The AK is actually not as mechanically simple as you might think. The AR is remarkably simple compared to just about everything on the market. Like, it's when you go to clean an AR. Wow, that was really stupid. When you go to clean an AR, all you do is remove the bolt and the bolt carrier group, and that's it. Whereas with the AK, it's a couple pieces you gotta remove. The AR kind of got slept on for a while because of the Vietnams And the fact that it's super popular. Well, I mean, you got to consider, though, that the AR-18 is not bad, but it still requires stampings. And stampings are not easy. Like, we think they're easy because we think, oh, they did it in World War II, so that's got to be simple, right? Eh, not really. 109mm rounds. Not bad. Those things used to be expensive. I remember I bought like 300 rounds of 9s back during the dock times. Believe it or not, 2020 was 5 years ago. 5 bloody years ago. For like almost $200. It was ridiculous. I'd actually go AR-15 just because it really is as good as people say it is. Blast him! Blast him! Hey, was that the shield? I don't think so. It must have been something else. Just use the compass. Okay, that's kind of cool. I thought that was just like a passive thing. I mean, this is part of the level that kind of gets a little, part of the game that gets a little annoying. Giant Max's, the shell casings were as big as subway cars. Wow. 9mm pistol caliber carbines are really, really fun. Probably the one rifle I've shot the most over the years is the Ruger PC carbine. I mean, they're cheap to shoot, provide good rifle training that's going to be different from, say, a 22, and they're fun. Really, really fun. I mean, like, shooting like an AR, unless you have your own range, it's going to be a bit expensive. And you'd have to go to an outdoor range, and yeah. Yeah, having a compass is never a bad thing, so you're not just wandering around in circles. Let's see, how long have we gone? An hour? Yeah, we're making good progress in this game. High point. I'd recommend, high points aren't bad, but you're going to have an issue with limited mag capacity. My recommendation, and it's not that much more expensive, is check out the X-Tar 9mm carbine. They're less than, I think, $500. So you're not spending that much more, and you have better recoil. You've got, you know, standard Glock mag, so you can have, you know, more than 20 rounds. I mean, you can shoot it. Well, the indoor range I go to, you can shoot a AR there as well, but it's just, you're kind of missing out unless you're shooting like 100 yards or more. If you're just shooting at 25, I mean, it's good practice, I guess, but it's just, you're not really letting it stretch its legs, so to speak. Okay, where are we trying to be? Maybe over here? No, we came from there. Oh, I think, yeah, we're in the jail area. I think there's like some actual humans. Well, that ground pound hurt. Yeah, the AR-15 looks complicated, but when you actually tear it down, it's not nearly as complicated as you would think. It really does feel a bit like a gun of the future in that it is so simple. Like, if you want to replace the trigger on an AR, it's really, I'm not going to call it easy, but it is much more understandable than if you try to do something like that on a, oh crap, I am so dead. Yep, -4. Than if you were trying to do something like that with a AK. It's ridiculous. Extra above normal allowed. Yep, you need to double up on hearing protection if you're trying to shoot a AR indoors. That's another thing about, oh wait! I know what we can do. It's too bad I have no ammo. Okay, well now I know what to do. We'll actually use the bloody quad damage. Why didn't I think of that? Okay, let's use that. Let's use that. Quad damage. I mean, that is such... No, no, no! Run! It's got a little tough here. Usually this game's pretty easy, but... Thank you for the bullets. If only we got ammo for free, that'd be awesome. I mean, have the government actually do something good for once. How complicated is an AR bolt release button? Not very. It's just a shaped piece of metal. And that's awesome. I don't actually have the target from the first time I ever shot because I think I was actually just shooting at like an object or something, like a bottle or a soup can or something like that. Phantom Fury, I don't think I've ever played that. And I missed part of that message. Let me scroll up real quick. Like how... There it is. ZZ Evo. Uh-oh. Yeah, if you're living in Michigan, you might not be able to get that. You might be stuck with just a High Point. High Point's pretty smart in that they do have their guns legal in all 50 states. So there's that. Ion Fury had a sequel? Okay. Yeah, no problem, Agnostic. But yeah, talking about being a kid, that reminded me, I wanted to mention something that was really cool. I was lucky to grow up in the 90s. And so, I'm not Gen X. I'm too young to be Gen X. But I'm like on the outer edge of millennial. But I still got to have like an actual cool childhood. And there's there's more than two things. But the two things I'm thinking of right now is, there was one time my grandfather made me a ramp to jump with my bicycle, right? And that's usually where that story ends. And like, and I jumped it with my bicycle. Oh, no. This was the 90s and Texas. We poured lighter fluid over the ramp, and I literally jumped a ramp that was on fire. It was the coolest thing ever. Like, literally the most badass thing I did as a kid. And that's saying something, because the next thing I want to mention is when I was sub 10 years old, I forget how old I was. Oh crap, that's a big one. I got to shoot a shotgun for the first time. A 410 gauge shotgun is actually the smallest gauge of shotgun you're ever going to find. When it comes to shotguns, the smaller the gauge, or the smaller the number, the bigger the gauge. Let's see, are piston ARs more complicated? They are more complicated, yes. They're good for shooting, like, in different temperatures and stuff like that, because you can regulate the gas better. And yeah, high points are great for being broke. This is true. A zoo linear. Nice. Too young to be a millennial. Well, maybe that means you avoided some of the millennial stupidity then. But yeah, the first time I shot a shotgun was in my grandfather's garage. It was a 410, and I thought it was like the most powerful gun ever. But then again, I was like not even 10 years old, so of course it would seem like that. And well, for years afterwards, my grandfather would always talk about how I blew up his trash can. Because we blew up one of the trash cans with that shotgun. I mean, 410 is like the smallest shotgun ever, but it was still really cool. Where other kids were like playing around with BB guns, I'm fucking shooting off shotguns and shit like that. It was awesome. And then one like, a much more safe thing that I did back as a kid was one of my friends actually made a boat out of a wash tub, and we would like boat down the ditch. And that is why being a kid in the 90s was awesome, because you could do shit like that. And you could go outside. Oh my god, the outside world. That wasn't filled with quite as many crazies out there. Arguably, it could be said that maybe things aren't as crazy as it seems, but man, you look at any of that social media, these people are all nuts. Really, they're gonna fucking flank me. You little unidentified flying bastards. 30-30. I mean, 30-30 that shouldn't have that bad a recoil, but that still is a bit powerful for like a first ever gun though. You'd probably just want to stick with 22 and then work your way up. Yeah, 2016, man. The China Lake pump action grenade launcher. If you made big shotgun shells for it, man, you'd be beating your shoulder to a mush, but it'd be kind of cool. Yeah, shooting both barrels will rack you back a bit, that's for sure. And when it comes to like pistol caliber carbines, my grandfather's favorite, and I think it's still in manufacture today, it's definitely a bit old school, is the Beretta Storm. He was a big fan of that. And it's a good PCC, but you know, you can't put a muzzle brake on it, you can't do a number of things, and like I don't know if Beretta makes a 30 round mag for the Beretta. It takes Beretta 92 mags. I don't know if Beretta even makes 30 round mags for that, but it was a nice carbine. And yeah, 22 is pretty rough. I remember blowing up bricks with 22s when I was a kid. That's something that'll definitely make you respect the 22 when you shoot a brick and it just dusts. And people kind of, the gun bros are like, unless you have like a 45 or a 10 millimeter, it's not good enough. And that's one thing I've noticed over the last like decade, is that the gaming community was not in any way ready for 2016 or even Gamergate. Like, nobody was prepared for that. Oh my. A watermelon, eh? Well, thanks again, Triple X Medic. Try to avoid as many crazies as possible. Although considering these days. But yeah, you know, when you look at like Gamergate and the okay, we need to find a yellow door, but where is that? Okay, so we came from there. Actually, wait a minute, we got a comp ass. Okay, so it says to go here. Well, I've been going for 1 hour 16 minutes, so you got a chance. Yeah, it's not slightly deadlier airsoft like 22 will. Well, one of the presidential assassines tried to take out Ronald Reagan with a 22. I think that guy got let out though during the Biden years. I think they actually let that guy out of prison, because that makes sense. Okay, so what Gamergate was, now I actually didn't know what it was when it was happening. The knife YouTuber actually cut her leg on a live stream. Oh dear. I think I can see my fat. Oh my, that must have been a sharp ass knife. Okay, let's blast this guy. I like how he just kind of teleported in front of me. Yeah, knife wounds are no joke. I cut myself on a machete a number of years ago. It just stings like you wouldn't believe. But yeah, Gamergate took place in 2014. I wasn't aware of it at the time because I was dealing with real life problems, namely a horrible divorce, which was very depressing at the time. But over the years, I've been able to compile what it was. And yeah, what it was is there were people exposing journalists doing dirty deeds. Basically, you'd basically have some game developers, and not to be the sexist, but well, it is what it is, I guess you could say. There are some female game developers essentially trading sexual favors for good reviews. This got exposed, and well, the shitstorm started up. Well, when it comes to 22, you don't necessarily have to empty the mag. It depends on where you hit. But what often happens in, like, well, we'll get back to Gamergate in a second. What often happens in defensive shootings is people miss. That's the main thing. For the longest time, people talked about how 9mm was useless, and they would talk about the Miami-Dade shootout. The only problem is the guy with the 9mm actually got blasted before he could shoot anybody. So it wasn't that it wasn't any good, it's just that he never even got to use it. And the reason it was an FBI agent, I think, that had a 9mm. He wore glasses, he lost his glasses, and then he got blasted by the criminal he was trying to take out. And so the 9mm wasn't even used. The guy was dead before he could even deploy it, so yeah. Cut my left hand trying to cut a watermelon at 16 and bleeding profusely. Oh, that's not fun. called Not Your Shield. Yeah, that was another thing from 2016. So going back to Gamergate, though. Going back to the Gamers Gates. So, 2014, 11 years ago, there were a number of female, possibly male as well, but it was the most well-known were a number of females trading sexual favors for good reviews for their shitty games. The game in question was a game called Depression Quest, which was basically a walking simulator, if I'm not mistaken. Well, anyway, what ended up happening is that should have been nothing, but it wasn't. Basically, she got a bunch of simps to, you know, say like, she did nothing wrong, you're sexist, and the racisms for saying anything. And that was the start of the Great Schism, where once with like gaming, nobody really talked about politics. And I remember this, nobody did. Now everything started to get political because all the simps defending this stupid woman that made a stupid game that no one played. That would then snowball into 2016 and the election of Cheeto Man. And that's how basically we have the world we have today. Not Your Shield was a thing from, I think, 2020, where there was a bunch of people who were being basically... let me see real quick. Stop attacking the word gate. Oh yeah, we'll get to that in a minute. We'll get to that in a minute. Okay, so like, Gamergate is what really made politics become a big deal. But what it really did is it gave a bunch of shitheels the ability to virtue signal. Now, virtue signaling is where people try to pretend like they're better than they are by basically saying a big slogan. Gamergate is what popularized that. That's where the whole Soxicism thing became a big deal. Then 2016 happened, and the virtue signaling got even worse. And so now you can't even say or do anything on social media without a bunch of crazies coming after you. Not Your Shield was a thing from 2020 where a lot of people of, shall we say, unconventional gender were getting sick of basically people just virtue signaling over them and saying that they're on our side, not yours. That didn't really go anywhere because of a lot of media censorship. And so, yeah, Gamergate actually did have some, shall we say, government involvement. Thank you, Doge. A lot of the stuff that would have sounded like conspiracy theory stuff, you know, 10 years ago, turned out to be true. So, it's kind of nut in that regard. Huh, Not Your Shield was from 2014? I thought it was from 2020. Weird. Okay, I did not know that. So yeah, gate, the suffix gate refers to Watergate. People are very unimaginative these days for whatever reason. Watergate was the name of a hotel from the was the name of a hotel in the 1970s. There was a presidential election going on. Richard Nixon was the incumbent. And he had some people basically getting some documents from the Watergate Hotel, which was being rented by the Democrat Party. He was playing some games with that. He got found out. And now everything that's a scandal has gate at the end of it for some reason. I'm sure most people who say gate don't even know that that even happened. Wouldn't even know who Richard Nixon even was. And yeah, Dustborn was massively funded by the government. Dustborn is a propaganda game. I don't have. There's a song in that game that where like the Dustborn, your player character sings about how the Dustborn are the new porn. I'm not joking. And they're fighting for DEI or something. JFK stole the election from Nixon. I was unaware of that. Although we're going to see if the JFK files get released at some point. I would be very interested to see that. I mean, I'm sure RFK would be too. But yeah, all this political stuff can trace its origins really back to 2014. That's where the shitstorm really started. Oh man, that's just sad. There's that Dustborn music. I'd recommend looking that up on YouTube and just listen to the sheer cringe. And the worst part is, they think they're right. Your kind won't last. I don't remember that. That's just terrible. The thing about it is, most normal people are still fairly normal. Most people don't care about this crazy political shit. That's why these games sell so badly, because nobody wants to play it. I mean, this game we're playing right here was made for people who play video game. Oh, we got CDs. Oh my god, that's got like 700 megabytes. That's like 700 floppy disks. Yeah, using words as like weapons, that could be cool. It's kind of like scribble knots almost. It's kind of interesting though. It could have been, you know, President 08 that... I don't think he did all of it though. Because there was a time back during the Obama presidency where things were still fairly normal. Where both left and right could get along kind of, or at least people, regular people could, maybe not the politicians. Because I remember having plenty of friends who were on the blue hair side, let's say, and they just talked about D&D. They didn't talk about this political shit. SpongeBob game that uses words as a weapon, you have to dodge them. Okay, that's not bad. See, I'm too old for SpongeBob. That came out when I was like a teenager, I think. I don't know if I would have liked it even if I was a kid, though. I don't know if I could sanction SpongeBob's buffoonery or not. But, yeah, like, it used to be everybody kind of got along to a certain extent, you know? And it was... I remember back in the old gaming group days when I would stay up till like 3 in the morning playing, you know, RTSs, Magic the Gathering, you know, stuff like that. Nobody talked about politics. There was like one guy in that group who would make political videos about like what you'd see today, talking about how like Batman should have been a member of the Occupy movement. I'm sure some of y'all don't even know what that is, which is hilarious to me because that was like the first virtue signalers. But yeah, like nobody really talked about this stuff. It was just a thing. Something about there being a vote. I don't remember that being the case, but it might have been, and I just didn't know about it. Apparently separated. Oh dear. Season 1 through 3 of SpongeBob is the only era that matters. How long has SpongeBob been going on anyway? Because I know it's a long-running show. I like how we're talking about politics and SpongeBob. Only on this channel, ladies and gentlemen, can you talk about government corruption and which season of SpongeBob is actually worth watching. Because that's what we do around here at General Lotz. But, yeah. It's pretty nuts. The change between then and now. TikTok, I think, has caused some problems in and of itself because it's such low-tier entertainment. Argument with... should be... What? What? I'm not surprised. It's always funny when people, when Caucasian people be like that. And yeah, and a YouTuber accidentally slicing open their leg. That's not fun. That's not fun. But yeah, those people that hate themselves because of their own skin color, that's nuts to me. That is nuts. I mean, that's how they've drank that Kool-Aid since '99. Steven Hillenberg left in '04. Huh. My God. SpongeBob is way older than I thought it was. How do you avoid divorce? That is not an easy prospect. See, I'm not a red pillar, so I can give you a bit of better advice than them, I think. You know, we're same YouTuber. Torture testing his $100 knife. Worked after it ran over with an SUV. Damn. Nice. Channel that literally has no issues talking about things without going all loony. Yeah, that's true, because, like, both red and blue pillars go nuts. You know? Or they start talking about Odin and worshipping Odin. Because yes, there's a YouTuber that went nuts. He dropped acid and apparently Odin spoke to him. But yeah, how do you avoid divorce? That's a very good question. First off, you need to pick somebody worthwhile. If you're gonna get married, what you gotta do is you need to find somebody who you actually like. I can't believe I have to say this. Oh, you bastard. You have to find somebody you actually like. Imagine getting married. Think about this. If you were gonna be best friends with somebody for life, you'd really want to be careful who you chose, you know? And so, when you go to get with a significant other, just be careful. Pick somebody who you'd actually... Oh, crap. And don't drown in a... Oh, I guess I could have used the rebreather, right? I always like to save my items. But just be careful who you choose. Like, actually get to know the person, you know? Basically... Getting married means you like somebody so much you would actually want to spend the rest of your life with them. That's a tall order, so it may take a while to even find that person. But actually avoiding divorce basically requires that you communicate with somebody in a constructive way, and that's not an easy thing. See, like, this game is hardcore. We'll get to the life advice in just a second. It's like, you can crush that guy. We're not, but you can totally crush him. Like, the 90s was rough. Ran over the knife with a John Deere Gator. Not bad. You can't save any of these people, save any of these Marines, sadly. Like, I tried to talk to him when I first played the game. It's like, we got to get out of here, but the technology did not exist at the time for that. For four years. Yeah, you got to be careful. You know, you got to be careful. But you got to be able to communicate with your spouse, and you got to have proper perspective, I guess. That's something that I can't really explain. Oh, crap, no! Dude, let's just say that, let's just put it this way. Bitterman is going to be fucked up once he finishes this mission. But you need to have proper perspective. Basically, don't catastrophize every little thing. That was a problem I had when I was actually married about 11 years ago. Is I did have a tendency towards catastrophizing things, and that caused friction. And I think that was one of the contributing factors why I ended up getting divorced. And I was very, very close with with my spouse at the time. She was like the best friend I ever had at that point in time in my life. But you know, it's a lot of little things. Basically. Don't let marriage, like, get you too nervous, but think about this. When you have friends, you have falling outs, you have fights, you have problems. Now, imagine you're married to this person, like you actually live with this person. It's difficult. It's just one of those things. But my recommendation, actually choose well, as in, don't just marry the first person you meet. And 2, have proper communication. And 3, very important, don't catastrophize. For the love of God, don't catastrophize. Well, no, you don't have... see, that's... A marriage is not like a job. See, the very premise of, like, being a yes man, you wouldn't do that. It's like, imagine, like, with your friends, you know, you're gonna fight with somebody on occasion. Now, maybe you won't. Maybe you won't, because I remember there was a time with my ex where she was like, maybe we'll never argue. And that was a goal I always tried to reach afterwards. After she had said that. I was never able to reach it, unfortunately, but the thing is, you don't want to... I'm trying to think how best to describe that. Like, you shouldn't want to fight in the first place. Remember, this is your friend. This is somebody who you actually like, you know? So you wouldn't want to be a yes man. You wouldn't want to be somebody who fights over everything. It's just, you need to be able to put what happens in perspective. What shows do you miss or are missing out on? Maybe that's how Bitterman became a villain. For many people who went insane through all the shit he went through. That makes sense. I can see that happening. Oh, ruling out marriage, something that never could have happened. And yeah, you could take courses as well. And thank you, Snap Ninja. That's the thing. If you're going to have something bad happen in your life, you need to learn from it as best you can so you don't make the same mistake twice. Shows I miss... I'll get back to the marriage thing in a minute. Shows that I miss out on. Star Trek. You know, I'd like there to have been some more good Star Trek, you know? What we have today is not that great. Really, I still don't have the pyramid key. Oh, but we got this. It's not that great, you know. The best we've got is Strange New Worlds. We got the compass. Well, this really makes things easier. But other shows like that, I'd like to have seen some more King of the Hill. I'd like to have seen like a grown-up Bobby Hill. I think that would have been kind of neat. And yeah, The Simpsons. The Simpsons has been shat since 1996. Let's see. So like with marriage though, whatever girl you find, well, no, when I say find, if you're going to get together with a girl of any description, you need to actually, this person needs to be the best friend you have ever had, essentially, before you even consider getting married. And then with the whole money thing, people often talk about like, oh, women are just going to steal your money. There are women that are like that. But they're usually easily avoided, because you can kind of tell if they're, well, a hoe or not, as they say. You should be able to trust somebody. Before you ever get married to somebody, you need to be able to trust them with your life, and then the money will follow afterwards. Because, like, if you can't trust somebody to back you up when, like, the guns are going off or something, you really can't trust them with your money, and then just don't get married. That's the easiest way. Autism, fantasies about being married before the basic friendship. Don't do that. That's very bad. Do not do that. The thing is, you shouldn't be fantasizing at all about anything, really. Oh, I have to do that? Oh, that's rough. No wonder Bitterman went nuts. Because that's just bad. Like, if you got to do that to get the pass card, let's just put it this way. Bitterman, no wonder he became a villain. I didn't remember having to do that. Yeesh. Mr. Pickles. Never even heard about Mr. Pickles. Making a new King of the Hill. I hope it's actually good. I hope they don't ruin it. They bring in a new, like, girl boss character. Because they do that. They do that. The, modern people. It's like, just let Hank still be Hank. The thing is, when it comes to finding a nice girl, there shouldn't be a fantasy. The fantasy should be reality, I guess is the best way to say it, because this person should make you as happy in reality as your mind could come up with. At least that's what happened with me all those years ago, as I found somebody that was literally the girl of my dreams. I didn't have to fantasize about anything. I was living it. Yeah, that's... Starting with the voice actor for Dale Gribble being gone, I'd almost suggest just recasting him, because you can't really do King of the Hill without him. Where was I? So yeah, the idea about getting together with a girl at all is you want somebody who is on par with, like, a super best friend. Okay, wait a minute. I don't know what that's not... why that wants me to go there. Because there's nothing here. And there's lava there, and I don't want to try to get underneath the lava. Okay, what do we have here? I don't get it. The episode had an accident. Oh yeah, that could work, where he has to talk through like one of those voice things. But the idea behind getting married or even getting a girlfriend is you basically have a higher level best friend, I guess you could say. Like somebody who's your best friend, but like a step beyond that. The pyramid key's not there, so I got some kind of key. And the compass isn't telling me to go over here, but we're gonna... Nope, I still don't have that fucking thing. This happened before. Because once you get past this point, the game's pretty easy, and you can usually figure out where you want to go. This happens every bloody time I play this game. Dating apps, I don't know if I'd even recommend considering to use one of those. I've tried them, and you know, none of the girls on there were ever that great. I don't want to sound like some kind of Casanova, but I actually have, well, okay, I used them about, well, 11 years ago, shortly after that divorce I had to deal with. And we gotta go back up here? Okay. There's something here we're missing. Okay, here we go. We're back. We're back on the path to glory. The thing about, like, finding a girl or anything, I still have that problem, because finding anybody for me is not easy, because I want somebody who's cool and then I can actually get along with. And that ain't easy, because I have very, very, very high-level tastes. I guess it's harder for me, because I know what good looks like. And I know what bad looks like. But yeah, any kind of girl you want to get together with needs to be somebody who makes you legitimately happy just by being there. Somebody who can take a random Thursday and make it really, really good. Somebody you can learn from to a certain extent. And those people exist. It's just, I don't know how you find them. I don't know where you look. I made a joke in another stream about how, like, you know how I found my ex? I made a somewhat successful YouTube channel. She found one of my videos and wanted to talk to me, and so, yeah. Wanted me to join her website, which I did, but the website went nowhere. Holy shit, I don't remember this being in the game. No, give me the fucking chain gun. I don't remember this being in Quake II. Holy crap. Let's see. Wait, to fight, fantasizing. Passively put yourself out there without too much energy. Yeah, that's pretty much all those things are good for. To fight, fantasize, not offense. A lonely loser. Oh, you're probably not a loser. Real lonely losers don't know that they are. At least you're not worshiping Odin or dropping acid, so you're already doing better than most. Because there was an interview I watched, or I say watched, listened to while I was at work, just because I had to click on the thumbnail, with a dude that might as well be a true lonely loser. He, like, created this giant flowchart for why the Whammons are evils. It's basically why women wouldn't date him. Like, let me tell you this. Spend 2 seconds on social media, and if you think you're bad, oh no, you'll see what real bad looks like. I know, enemy variety is so nice. Like, we went from shooting guys with shotguns to some big snarly monster that is badass. Until I get a new job, no girl wouldn't want to. Not necessarily agnostic. I did date a girl when I had no job. It just depends on, you know, what you're doing with said girl. If it's just online, it doesn't really matter. But you would definitely want to get one immediately, though, once you did find somebody, you know. Good for mediocrity at best. Yeah, I can agree with that. Yeah, at least you're not Destiny. No, like, I swear, the Odin worshiper guy, listen to that guy's interview, it's like, oh my god. Oh my god! But, yeah, you know, it's like, you fight fantasizing about people by just talking to them, you know? That's it. Like, whenever I get in a relationship, I guess you could say, it's like, I spend, like, as much time with the girl as possible because I actually legitimately want to. You know? A new Dune mod called Red Overworld. Let me take a picture of that. That way I don't forget, like, as soon as I finish the stream. Oh, you bastard! I'm trying to... You know, machine gunner guy, I'm trying to remember the name of a mod. So rude. So rude. Okay, I need to use that grenade launcher and blow it all up. I got so lucky there. But, like, yeah, like, if you get together with a really nice girl, like somebody who really does it for you, this is going to be somebody you're going to want to spend all your time with. And that's why I got, when I got married, it was not a, like, oh man, I should just totally get married because that's, like, what I'm supposed to do. When I got married, it was because I really loved that person a lot. You know, like, I was super close to this person. I spent all my time with that person because I legitimately wanted to. And so, you know, if you're with somebody you legitimately want to be with, you wouldn't have to fantasize because you'd be living it. That's the main thing. just when you get together with somebody, just keep in mind they're a human being. Don't try to turn them into something they're not, and just spend time. That's really what it is. The thing about the real world is you can't get anything without work. You gots to work. And so any relationship is a lot like a friend. Well, put it another way, like if you were friends with somebody, if you were friends with, you know, another guy or something, would you spend time fantasizing about things with the other guy? No, you wouldn't. You'd be like, hey man, you want to play Halo 2? And that'd be it. Do the same thing with the girl. That's really all it is. I guess the best way to put it is like having a girlfriend legitimately, like a good girlfriend, somebody that you actually love. To put it crassly, it's like a best friend, but with tits. Because that really should be what that is, you know? And then you have the romance getting involved, but when you first meet somebody, a nice girl, it really should be like just a regular friend, but with tits. That's really what it should be. Tainted Grail Fall of Avalon? No, I have not. But I will take a picture of that so I don't forget. There we go. And I'll look that up after the stream. Emotional support is no... Yeah, that's the thing that happens these days, apparently. And that's sad. I mean, but once again, you look for red flags. And always remember, in any sort of dating situation, you don't have to be with somebody. It's better to be alone than with somebody that you can't get along with or don't like. That's the main thing to keep in mind. And so if somebody you're dating isn't, you know, to your liking, well, you know, you dump them. Simple as that. And then you move on and try to find somebody who does. I got exceedingly lucky in that the first person I ever really, truly dated, we clicked pretty well. But once again, you know, I made mistakes, she made mistakes, and ultimately it, you know, came to an end. And, you know, it's just one of those things. But how do you avoid divorce? You find the right person, which is hard. Don't catastrophize, and basically have proper communication. What I would do differently today, though, with the knowledge that I have... Phantasy Star! Awesome. That'd be a good game. Hard as fuck, though. You need them save states. But, yeah. If I was, back in the old days, 11 years ago, I was much more arrogant, I guess you could say. I thought I had all the answers. And so, a number of people had suggested, you know, like some kind of marital counselor. It's like, that's not gonna work. I don't need none of that. I can figure out it all on my own. And, well, I didn't. I did not. And so, it ended in divorce. Don't be too good to get counseling if you need it. If you truly love somebody, do things you don't like that, you know? Don't think you have all the answers, because you don't. Mistakes. Being on for too long. So yeah, just don't assume you have all the answers. Be willing to seek help elsewhere. Stuff like that, you know? When I was younger, I was like, I don't need anybody's advice. They're all stupid anyway. That was something I had to learn, you know? I had to be humbled. Every girl turned out to be lesbian. Oh dear. Oops. Well, then, I don't know what to tell you on that one. When you want to date a girl, make sure she has long hair and doesn't dress like a guy, I guess. I don't know what a lesbian looks like, so I don't really know what to tell you on that one. It's like, oh dears. Oh dears. But yeah, to avoid divorce, just marital counseling can help. And don't be too good to get it. Because that's one mistake I look back on. It's like, yeah, maybe I should have actually sought advice instead of thinking I was too good for that sort of thing. Now there's the inflated sense of self-esteem. Alright, now... Oh, we got the tank bastards. So yeah, ladies and gentlemen, we talk about marriage, we talk about counseling, we talk about SpongeBob, we talk about video games. It's just, we got everything on this channel. But you know what we don't do? We don't talk about Odin. It's like, man, that was the weirdest like interview I've ever seen. Dude dropped acid and like went to the astral plane to talk to Odin. Like the guy was unhinged. No one that doesn't carry scars. Yeah, exactly. You're in life, you will make mistakes. It's just the nature of things. Just the thing about mistakes, really, is you can't know everything. You're not gonna know everything, and you don't know what you don't know until you learn it. And so, like with me, I thought I knew everything, and I did not. And I did not. I can most assuredly tell you I did not. But I thought I did. But I didn't know what I didn't know. I didn't know that I didn't know. And so that screwed me bad. You see, that was kind of an easy boss. The bosses in this game, not too difficult. Oh, that's a bad texture. Oh, man. I think I might not have used that. Oh, man, that looked bad. See, this looks real good, but... Norse mythology? Oh, yeah. Although, you know what's funny? We talk about a guy worshipping Odin, but when you think about it, it's like, Odin had his eye plucked out for knowledge, and that's not exactly wrong in real life, because, like, to gain knowledge, you have to get it through sacrifice, through suffering, you know, that sort of thing. Everything had to be Viking related, yep. And then they had, no, it's not Styx. I forget the guy. What if Alt Hiss? That's his name. That's his name. He dropped acid and, talked to Odin. There's a whole bunch of videos on this guy. No, it wasn't an interview. He had a 10-hour, schizo rant, as the cool kids say, that gets increasingly unhinged as it goes along. I don't think I did not watch all 10 hours. And hello, Liquid Diet. We're almost done, unfortunately. Yeah, not getting cynical is kind of tough. I mean, it's very easy to just sort of assume everything's going to be bad. For me, I stay away from cynicism by basically being too stubborn. Stick Haven claims he's responsible for the blizzard that hit Louisiana. Okay. You're a lizard, Larry. Wait, no. Lizard Harry. Or is it Barry? I forget. It's a Jill sandwich. I'm not cynical because I'm too stubborn. I refuse to be miserable, essentially. You're online, there's more to things a man would be, like Richard. Maybe that's the case now, but there were regular, real females that liked all those sorts of things. Going back to my ex, she was into Star Wars, was into all kinds of stuff like that. I'll tell you this, that was the first girl I ever met that knew what Vector Prime even was. For those who don't know what Vector Prime is, that's a novel in the Star Wars EU. The true Star Wars EU? I'll just spoil it. It's the one where Chewbacca gets killed. In fact, that's really the only reason why I even asked her out in the first place. Is, when I first met her, I was like, oh yeah, she's gonna be like all the other females I met. You know, kind of dull, kind of boring, you know? So I didn't really think anything of about talking to her, but they're like, oh yeah, would you like to do a video on Vector Prime with me? I was like, what? You know what that even is? That's when, I got, oh crap! No wonder he's so bitter. Commute completed. Well, hopefully you didn't have to avoid too many crazies. A North Korean Harry Potter. Did some kind of black magic ritual that caused the blizzard. Wow. What does he think he is, Conan? Yeah, social media really shows off a lot of... Oh, goddammit. Fucking lava. New Quake win? Yeah, tell me about it. The best we're gonna get is Doom the Dark Ages. It's Quake-ish. I still gotta put that new processor in. Oh, he just rocked that guy. I still gotta... Kim Haru. I guess all he does is talk about communism. Which I guess if you had Harry Potter today, he'd be doing the same thing. And yeah, I'd like another Quake 4 style game myself. Oh crap, you little bastard. Parkway East, huh? It actually predates the Dreamcast. Oh crap! Burn him! Oh, crap, crap, crap. I am so screwed. Burn! Well, no, I blew him up at least. It actually predates the Dreamcast by a few years, actually. Not many years, though. But, let's see, where was I? Yeah, females that like nerdy stuff do exist unironically. In fact, of all the girls I've ever dated, they all like nerdy stuff. And they were actual females. Oh. They were actually females with the real gina and everything. So, yeah, they're there. You just gotta look. And the idea is, like, you do need to be yourself. By which I mean, you know, when you meet a girl, don't be like, well, you see, just talk to him like talk to a female like you would talk to anybody, you know, like you would talk to a guy, because that's really how you should talk to anybody. You shouldn't put a female like on a pedestal. You shouldn't treat them like they're kind of weird unicorn things. It's just like, if you find a female that you find interesting, you talk about, like, you know, Star Wars, you know, that's what you do. You like, do you like the Star Warses? I don't know. Away. The floor is lava indeed. But, yeah, you know. The reality is, though, when you're talking to a girl, it should just be where you talk like a normal human being. Too many people get all confused about what to say to a girl and not realizing that a girl is a human being. You know, talk about Phantasy Star, you know? It's like, hey, have you heard about this video game? It's from 1988. It's really good, you know, but really hard as fuck, that you're gonna need a lot of save states. That sort of thing. People make this stuff way harder than it should be. Now, usually the people that make it harder than they should be are trying to scam people. You know, like the dudes that go to the bar and just want to get laid. That's where you need, like, the voodoo dance. But if you want to actually be a real human, you would talk normally, you know. That sort of thing. Let's see, we got... Yeah, we'll finish this area up, and then we'll call it a day. Dope. Oh, there's an online one. Okay, not the original, like, Sega Master System. Hey, you know what? You say, hey girl, do you like Donkey Kong? She might be like, yeah, I love Donkey Kong Country. It's one of my favorite games. I mean, that would be a good conversation starter. The thing about, one of the best cores for emulating SNES, Genesis, and 32X. B-SNES works pretty good. And then just any of the Genesis emulators will do. Play Area 51 Arcade. There you go. I mean, not to sound like I'm a feminazi or something, women do get treated like crap a lot. And most of the time it's by guys that just want to, you know, do the old pump and dump. If you're a real, you know, stand-up guy, you don't need a special voodoo dance, you know. You just be like, hey, do you think that new whatever movie that's out, you know, that new Jurassic Park, oh crap, almost jumped right into the Industrial Crusher, I'd get 1 million views. You know, you just talk about normal stuff, you know. A lot of chicks don't get that, they just get hit on, you know. The guy who, he didn't drop acid during the interview. There's actually 2 different guys. There's one guy that did an interview named Homath, that's his name, who like drew this giant like flowchart about how to date people. And then there's a guy named What If Alt Hist. He dropped acid and put out a 10-hour like manifesto on how he talked to Odin and is gonna form a new religion. Yeah, Andrew Tate. Yeah, do not, no. He's the guy at the bar that's trying to get together with any woman. A bipod of my 1911. See, like, okay, you know what's funny? Hold on, it's freeware. Okay, I'm gonna take a picture of that because I didn't know there was that Phantasy Star Online still was a thing. And yeah, Andrew Tate is pretty shat. He's the guy at the bar trying to chat somebody up to get any kind of real gina. Why he doesn't read? Wow, what an asshole. You know, it's funny you should mention that Triple X medic. Like, I actually have dated females that would be very pissed off if you got the gun stuff wrong. Because one thing that apparently is a normal thing, and I'm not sure if it is or not, because I don't do it myself, that like a lot of dudes will like test these women to see if they actually know the nerd stuff, and they just assume they don't. I guess that would be pretty shitty. Like if somebody did like, hey John, do you know who Kyle Katarn is? It's like, yeah, why would I not? And yeah, Andrew Tate is very insecure because he's flexing his muscles and his cars and yeah, whatever. You know what? I'm gonna... Lambos sound great. I'd rather put that money in the bank. Yeah, see, reading to me is just another form of entertainment, you know? It's like... That's the thing about booktubers and stuff like that. They can be very pretentious. It's like, I only read Dostoevsky. It's like, you know what? I read fucking Star Wars, okay? Rogue Squadron. Recently reread that just last week, actually. Really good shit. Really good stuff. It's got a plot that is kind of inspired by the original, you know, A New Hope. It introduced new characters. It's got a lot of really good emotional stuff. That actually reminds me, the character Corran Horn gets his debut in the first Rogue Squadron book. And he's kind of like in the same vein as your Kyle Katarns and your Dash Rendars. He's a great character. He gets an opportunity to screw this hot chick, right? And he keeps like denying her because he's like, if I do that, I'm gonna regret it. And then the girl ends up dating him because he wasn't a fucking Canute, which was awesome. Buy a nice home? Yep. More genre variety in books. Yep, I would love that too. Something that isn't 20 years old. The Jack AK. Poland was technically never a Soviet republic. They were technically independent. So, yeah. Add doors in that previous era for the remaster? I have no idea. Even political theory. Go, 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 go! I mean, nonfiction is good, but fiction kind of gets a short shrift. The sad part is, like, all these red pill people, originally it was supposed to be sort of like, God damn it. Originally it was supposed to be sort of like a counter to all the crazy stuff that's going on. Then it just became an excuse to hate on the females. Yeah, technically more, even though it's pitch black out. I prefer science fiction to fantasy. Finding good sci-fi books is a lot easier than finding a good fantasy book. A lot of fantasy is just so much pretentious crap, and I ain't gonna read an 800-page book. There is nothing that you can't tell me in 400 pages that an 800-page book is gonna tell me, you know? All those 800-page books, man, it's all filler. It's all filler. Warhammer Fantasy did a great job. They could give you like 3 modern-day trilogies in like a book, because they knew what to, you know, leave out and what to leave to the reader's imagination. Rocket launcher time. Let's see, I've been going on for 2 hours. All right, I'm just gonna call it here because I am only human. Oh, and I'm already getting tired. Ugh. And yeah, fantasy does have a lot of self-inserts. Stories are too enslaved to genres, too scared to do anything. Yep, that is true. That is so true. Most stories, most writers are afraid to do anything different, and it gets so annoying. Ever see a straight biological woman who isn't a 40K? Nope. It is true. Women do like 40K. I know this because I was with a girl who wanted to play 40K. Never got a chance to, but even wanted to be play Chaos Corn. So yeah, the thing is, women like nerdy stuff. It's just the media that says they don't. you know. And there are, of course, women that don't, but there are plenty of women who do. You just gotta, you know, find them, I guess. Conan's Tower of the Elephant. Yeah, Tower of the Elephant was pretty good. I read that on a plane. All right, I'm General Lotz. I'm gonna wish you good Quake II, good Quake 4, whatever makes you happy.